ain't this a surprise? I knew that there was a Dark Crystal movie from Netflix in the works. I just didn't expect it to come this soon because I hadn't heard about it in a while.
I thought it was supposed to come out last October or something. I don't know. I thought it kept getting pushed back for some reason.
I thought it was going to be yet another vaporware or vapor movie, like a movie we would never get to see. But alas, that was not the case. Instead, what we have here is we have The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, the teaser trailer from Netflix. So
I didn't actually know this was happening.
Oh yeah. Believe
That's pretty cool.
It's happening. But I'm excited to see what this is gonna. I was a pretty big fan of the fantasy film back in the 1980s. I think it was 82. Was it?
It is way back there. I mean,
before I was born.
I wasn't born then, but I liked it after I knew what was going on and watched it.
Yeah.
Still total nightmare fuel though.
Well, it is. It's dark fantasy.
Yeah.
And Jim Henson and his crew wanted to bring it to life. And lo and behold, they did. Sticks with you forever. All right. Well, we have the video queued up here. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh,
I was about to say, sometimes it actually has to make noise before the bar pops up.
Okay. Well, there we go. Oh, look at this world. It's beautiful. Hey, my sister had one of those. It almost went in the fireplace.
All thrives at risk. The darkening corrupts everything it touches.
What is the darkening?
Behold.
That's practical, dude. A lot of that is practical.
I see many endings lay before us. Some good, most bad.
Okay.
What have the Skeksis done? Tell no one.
Dude.
Damn.
Looks pretty crazy.
Jim Henson would be proud.
Yeah. The only thing is Aughra's her little Cosmos model. That was obviously CG, and I really missed that set because that was the coolest set piece ever.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I get it.
For the characters, though,
Yeah.
the practical effects and the puppetry look amazing, and that's
cool that they decided to stick with that instead of modernizing it into just all CG or something.
Yeah, which I understand that CG allows you to get away with a lot. I mean, a lot. But at the same time, having something that's really there provides an anchor to the story that honestly CG just doesn't offer. I mean, I love the Avengers. The Avengers is, to me, one of the best examples of modern day filmmaking done right, especially with characters that we all know and love. But that being said, you know the Hulk really isn't there. You know that Iron Man's suit really isn't 100% there. You know that, all these people are in these suits that don't actually do all these cool things, but CG can make them look cool, and that's good. I'm glad CG has effectively become so, and we all know that Josh Brolin wasn't really there that tall with Thanos makeup on. That would have been impressive, but we all know that wasn't really him.
There's there's certain things that if you tried to practical effect, you can only do so much, and it gets to the point where, like, even if it looks as good as it possibly can, it's still kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what would have happened if you tried to just practical effects all of the Avengers.
No.
Especially superhero stuff. Superhero stuff, when done with practical stuff, it tends to come off kind of cheesy.
Yeah. In some cases, it can be campy, although Christopher Nolan had a brilliant idea for maintaining practicality but also embracing CG. He would always have something in the scene that was real and would add CG on top of it.
Yeah.
To him, he felt that provided the anchor in reality that people could still latch onto.
Yeah.
Whereas the CG could just do whatever it wanted to. I mean, when you look at how he did Inception with the spinning hallway and how that set piece actually worked, it's beautiful. It's beautiful watching it work the way it does. But overall, a lot of it still was CG. A lot of the effects with the backgrounds was CG. The mountains, a lot of it was CG. But yeah, and I accept that CG is not only necessary nowadays, but it's expected. It's expected from a lot of studios. I mean,
there's still just the thing in the back of my mind that's always like, when I see CG in a horror film, I'm just like, I feel like if they practical effected the shit out of this, it would have been a lot cooler.
well, there are certain film genres that I think do benefit from practicality over CG, like
horror,
you're saying.
especially
Horror with this
dark fantasy, yeah,
this
apparently.
looks great.
Yeah.
And also Peter Jackson. Actually, if you look at the films where he was overly practical with a lot of his stuff, there was some stuff that he didn't do, that he couldn't do practical, had to do CG. Smeagol and Gollum, for instance, that had to be CG'd in, even though the guy had the outfit ready to go and everything. He even had the full makeup and everything on the suit. But
Which he looks really good, but I still wonder what it would have been like if they had a practical affected him instead.
well, yeah, but still, it looked really good.
Yeah.
Especially for the time, dude.
But one of the things is, like, CG seems to work in cases where you're making something that doesn't necessarily exist within our world at all in any way. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, in horror, like when you're doing, like, body horror and stuff, like, you have the basis of what exists in our world. It's just a matter of using the practical effects to distort that.
Yeah.
But if you CG that, since it's already a thing that exists, you're never going to get it to look real enough to be convincing.
Well,
So it just really depends on what you're working with. Like, you know, they can go back and forth, but yeah, definitely it works really well here.
Well,
And,
of
the
course,
little bit of CG they threw in was like, you know, stuff you wouldn't really be able to create with a practical effect, and it makes sense.
you could, but
so.
it would take a lot of time and a lot of budget that
It
they
would
probably
be
didn't
stuff like
have.
probably like what they did in Star Wars with like rubbing Vaseline on the film and crap like that.
Yeah.
Well, they can make the world a lot bigger with CG than
They can,
previously
yeah.
that you could explore. I just remember that's one of my favorite scenes in Dark Crystal, where like they're in Aughra's little, you know, observatory or whatever, and then like all the Garthim bust through the walls, and so Jin, like literally, like they had what I assume was a child actor, like on this thing, and then like throws himself through the window to escape, and I'm like, man, that is like the coolest set piece ever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because that thing was massive, and it was.
And they probably could have built it if they had more time and more budget.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's why.
No, I totally get it. I mean,
well, Game of Thrones, when you see some of the set pieces that they've had built, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's inside of a sound stage in Sheffield, England, a massive one. It's probably like, I think, the third biggest in the world, which is crazy to think that Atlanta's actually home. I think Atlanta's actually home to the second biggest right now. The biggest one, I think, is in not L.A. L.A. doesn't even have one in the top 10. But yeah, anyway, building the set, I think if they'd have had more time and more money dedicated to it, maybe they could have. But still, I mean, for what we're getting, I mean, it looks great. It does. And honestly, I hope Dark Fantasy does make a comeback. I hope this is one of the things that really lights a spark under it, and we get more movies like Willow and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, because Willow was one of my favorites as a kid too, because, you know, freaking Warwick Davis, and also Val Kilmer. Plus that final fight at the end was just crazy, where Yeah, that one. Yeah, they have that one guy who transforms into the dragon, and then or like sort of dragon. It's like a monster of some kind. And he gets stabbed in the head, and its head explodes. It was like, whoa! As a kid, I was like blown away with the shit I was seeing. And
I've just needed more dark fantasy in my life since Dark Souls. So
Sark dolls.
yeah.
The Sark
So
dolls.
so far, I've only gotten like a few things past beyond that, and I'm just like, arr, arr. I had Kingdoms of Amalur and basically, I guess, Game of Thrones. So I mean,
And now they're all.
arr.
Well, now you've got Dragon Age, which
Yeah, I am going back and trying to play Dragon Age. I'm modding the crap out of that game right now because I'm not happy with the way it looks nowadays. So
and you're also doing a Blood Mage or a mage.
yeah, I'm gonna try Mage instead of Warrior. I think on the second try. But yeah.
Filthy magic.
Hopefully,
user.
I'll end up making the game fun for myself enough to play all the way through.
Hey, sounds good to me. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you all are excited for this, let us know in the comments down below. I mean, this is really exciting to see, and hopefully this will lead to some awesome things in the future. So, I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate,
Micah.
I'm Nick.
and we will see you all in the next one. Peace out.